Welcome to the Shift Your Story, Change Your Life podcast. I'm Allie Rose, certified clinical hypnotherapist and subconscious success coach. I help my clients stop self-sabotage and feel safe to create more wealth, worth, and wellness from within. If you find yourself stuck repeating the same unhelpful patterns in your life, health, business, or relationships, even after all the mindset work, this podcast is for you. Each week, you'll hear deep dives into the hidden beliefs shaping your life and live hypno coaching sessions where someone shifts a block in real time. Because willpower isn't the problem, your subconscious story is. And when you shift it at the root, everything else begins to change. So let's dive in. Hello. Welcome back to the Shift Your Story, Change Your Life podcast. Today's episode is a little different. I'm going to be sharing a conversation I had on the Sovereign Magazine podcast with their editor-in-chief, Nicole George. We dove into the power of radical honesty and how so much of what keeps us from speaking our truth lives in the subconscious. When you've been conditioned to please, to keep the peace, or to meet everyone else's expectations, your subconscious learns that honesty isn't safe, even being honest with yourself. And that's why so many of us feel the inner tension between who we really are and who we think we're supposed to be. In this episode, we explore how to peel back those layers, how to listen to the different parts of yourself, and I even guide you through a live meditation to help you connect with a part of you that hasn't felt safe to be fully honest. And to help you keep exploring after you listen, I've created a free radical honesty reflection guide, a short journaling practice you can download to go deeper with what comes up for you today. You'll find the link to that guide in the show notes. All right, let's dive in.
Welcome, Allie.
Hi, I'm so happy to be here.
Oh, I'm so happy that you're here as well, because we are going to be diving into something today that I'm not sure everybody has heard about. So stay tuned. We are going to be talking about your article, Radical Honesty Will Set You Free. And you talk about how the transformative impact of facing uncomfortable truths in your life can help you live more authentically and maybe even perhaps create a new relationship with yourself. And that radical honesty as a daily practice can lead to some personal freedom and alignment. And I was hoping that you could maybe define for our listeners what radical honesty maybe is, or even how it might be showing up in their life and how maybe they're even struggling with that.
Most people are not practicing radical honesty because we've been conditioned to please other people in order to be safe. And so I really think that radical honesty is a practice that I get to see with a lot of my clients because it's in the safety of the room that they can finally be honest with themselves about what they really want. And so I think that it's really just about peeling away like layers of ourselves that we've built around maybe fears, shame, guilt, and just like taking an honest look at who am I really? Who am I when the world is not telling me who I should be, or when I'm not trying to live into other people's expectations? That's the way that I think of radical honesty.
Yeah, so when we're trying to peel away those layers of maybe fear, shame, or guilt, what techniques might you use to help that?
Part of it is noticing. Well, I mean, obviously, when I'm working with a client, we're talking about different things. Noticing where there's a discrepancy, noticing where there's some tension, noticing where there might be when we're talking about something, maybe they're making a decision about a job or they're making a decision about a relationship, and noticing when there's a tension that comes up. There's a feeling of like, do I want to? Do I not want to? There's just this tension. And so we have to look at like, where is, I always say there's a part of me that wants to do this and there's a part of me that doesn't. And so we have to look at those parts of ourselves and we have to figure out like, which one, they're both true because they're both present, but where are they coming from? Which one is the more true part of myself?
Oh, that's a really interesting way of looking at it. I've never analyzed it in that way. I have a best friend who's a marriage and family therapist, and she's taught me this word and. You can feel this and you can feel that. But I've never heard it explained in the way of which one feels more true for me because maybe perhaps they're both true, but maybe which one is a little bit louder. Is that what you're trying to explain?
I think more so parts of us are created more often than not to keep us safe. And those parts of us are often not created by us as adults. They're often created by us as children based on what our caregivers, friends, family, church community, whatever, what they've told us that we should be. And so we create parts of ourselves to belong, to be safe, to fit in, all of that. And so while that part is absolutely real and true because it exists within you, there may be another part that is more real and true to who you are. And so we have to look at where was that part first created? And was it created by you or was it created because it's something that you actually want? Or was it created because you didn't feel safe to be your true self? So you have this part of you that you've created. I hope that makes sense. I know it can be a
Yes.
little
No.
convoluted.
No, that makes perfect sense. And earlier when we were chatting just before this, you used this word honesty. And I'm wondering if somebody is not identifying with the word truest self, do you think honest self could be a word that they could explore maybe?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I don't know necessarily that the wording matters so much. I like to ask my clients if you just were able to drown out all of the noise of everyone else, and I asked you, what do you want to do in this situation? What do you truly, deeply, because I believe everyone knows deep down at their core, what would you do? That to me is your truest self, right? But it gets clouded with, well, what will so and so think if I do this? Or what will happen if I do this? And it gets clouded, right?
Yeah. Our new segment, Steps to Your Sovereign Self. So, if we're going to talk about it, we could even rename it to Steps to Our True Self today or Honest Self, whichever one you prefer. You utilize different methods like hypnotherapy and parts work to help people go deeper into themselves and finding that personal freedom or true self. And so today you're going to lead us through a meditation to help everyone listening get in touch with parts of themselves where they're maybe not being true or honest. And so get yourself ready, whatever that means to you, because we're going to go on a journey to our truest selves with Allie.
All right. So, yeah, I want you to go ahead and get comfortable. And I want you to just softly close your eyes. And if that doesn't feel comfortable for you, you can just lower your gaze. Want you to take a deep breath in, really feeling that breath moving through your body. And just allow your facial muscles to relax, particularly around your jaw and forehead. Feel your shoulders relaxing, moving away from your ears. And just begin to focus on your breathing, noticing the natural rhythm of your breath without trying to control it. Feel the air as it enters and exits your nostrils, or just observe the rise and fall of your chest. And I want to invite you to go ahead and take another deep breath in. And as you exhale, I want you to just imagine that you've gone inside yourself You've turned your eyes inward, and you're just going to do a scan of your body. And I want you to notice where you might be holding a part of you that doesn't feel like it's being honest or true to who you really are. You may notice some tension in this area where you hold this part. Maybe there's something in one of your relationships where you don't feel like you're being honest. Maybe there's something in your career where you're not being honest. Or maybe there's a habit in your life that you know that you need to address it, but you're just not being honest with yourself about it yet. Just notice where you hold that part. And now I want you to imagine that you're pulling that part of you out of yourself. You're able to look at it. And I just want you to identify, what does this part of you look like? Does it have a color, texture, shape, or size? And how do you feel about this part of you? Do you feel positive toward this part of you? Do you feel negative? Do you feel neutral? Anything in between? How do you feel about this part of you? And now we're going to ask this part of you a question. So I want you to imagine that this part of you, you've pulled it out as if you can have a conversation with it. And I want you to ask this part of you, why are you here? What is your purpose in my life? Are you protecting me from something? What do you need me to know? And just listen and see what it says. And now I want you to ask this part of you, when did you first come into my life? How old were you? What was going on in your life at that time? And now that you know a little bit more about why this part of you is there, why it might be causing you to hold back from being honest with yourself or other people, and when it came into your life, I want you to ask this part of you, what did it cause you to believe about yourself, the world, or other people when it came into your life? What's the belief that you're holding around why you can't be honest with yourself, the world, or other people? It could be something like, I'm not safe if, people won't like me if. Just allow yourself to hear what the belief is. And now I want you to ask this part of you, what does it need from you in order to release so that you can be honest with yourself or others? What practical, tangible steps does it need you to take so that it can feel safe enough to release and allow you to be honest with yourself or others? And now that you have all of this new information, You know why this part of you was formed, when it was formed, and what it needs from you. I want you to just take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, I want you to thank this part of you for whatever purpose it was serving in your life. And I want to count you back to full awareness. With each number, you'll become more aware of your surroundings, bringing this new knowledge back to the room. So on the count of 1, you're becoming more aware. On the count of 2, you're aware of the room and the sounds around you. On the count of 3 and 4, take in another deep, cleansing breath. And on the count of 5, whenever you feel ready, you can open your eyes and come back to the room.
Whoa. That's all I've got to say. That's the first time I've done parts work, and that was powerful. I'll privately share with you what happened after this call. I'm happy to share publicly, but we are running out of a little bit of time, and I want to focus on you and how people can find you. Because if anybody else experienced what I just did, they're definitely going to be contacting you ASAP. All of Allie's details are in our show notes, so don't you worry, you're going to be able to connect with her. And she's also in Sovereign Community, which is community.sovereign-magazine.com. So don't you worry, you'll be able to find her. For anybody who had this incredible transformation that I just experienced, how can they move through their day? I just want to give like a quick little disclaimer of maybe perhaps I know like after yoga and stuff, some people are like, drink a lot of water. Is there anything that people should be looking out for today?
Yeah, I mean, I just think, you might want to spend some time journaling about what came up for you and what the part said to you. And I just find that often parts really want to feel seen. And so any way that you can make that part of you feel seen and acknowledged, be gentle with yourself. Notice any other moments of tension. Put your hand on your heart, just kind of anchor into your breath. Drink a lot of water, go lightly throughout your day. I hope this conversation gave you a chance to see how your subconscious stories around safety and honesty have been shaping your choices. If the meditation brought something up for you, give yourself space to sit with it. Journal about what that part of you shared. Notice what it needs, and remember, just because a belief was formed in the past doesn't mean it has to continue to run your life today. And if you want some support as you do that, grab the free Radical Honesty Reflection Guide I put together for you. It has simple prompts to help you continue the work we started here today. The link to grab it is in the show notes. And if someone you know is working harder and harder yet still feels stuck, share this episode with them. Sometimes the real shift isn't in another strategy, but in helping the subconscious feel safe enough to tell the truth. I'm sending you so much love and gratitude. Until next time. Bye. Thank you so much for joining us today for this episode of the Shift Your Story, Change Your Life podcast. If today's conversation sparked something in you, I'd love to hear about it. Feel free to send me a message on social media. I'm at the Allie Rose on both Facebook and Instagram. And if you want to be coached on a future episode or explore what it would look like to work with me one-on-one, head over to shiftyourstorypodcast.com. And if you never want to miss an episode, make sure to subscribe and leave a rating and review. It helps more people find this work. Until next time, keep shifting, keep growing, and most importantly, I want you to remember that your story isn't set in stone. You always have the power to shift it.